Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Command Point. I'm Shane, and I am here to talk a little bit about the Las Vegas Open for Kill Team, and kind of just reflect on the aftermath of it. Ryan and I were not able to go to LVO. It's just the same thing every year. We always say we're going to go, and then we don't. And then it's always, next year we'll try to go. And then, but now we have KTO, which is really close. So it's a little easier for us to justify not going. But regardless, LVO was a massive event with a ton of great players, and the streams were excellent. So if you want to watch the streams for LVO, go head over to, I believe, Luster's Workshop is the name of it. Sheldon didn't stream it. So Luster's Workshop, it was streamed day 1 and 2, and I believe the pods may have been streamed as well on Friday. But regardless, we're here to talk about the championships, not necessarily the pods on Friday. So I guess to set the stage, to provide context for what the meta was going into LVO, the last balanced data slate, we saw nerfs to Pathfinders, we saw nerfs to, I want to say, Hunter Clade, Gellerpox Infected, Void Dancers, and we saw buffs to Elucidine Star Striders, Phobos, and of course, naturally, my very favorite, the Farstalker Kinband. So to figure out how the and Hyrotech Circle as well. So with all that in mind, it kind of seemed like the big dog, so to speak, going into LVO was the Navis Breachers, who were kind of the strongest team from before the data slate that did not get hit with a nerf. So the logic dictates that going into LVO that Navis Breachers are probably the favorite to win the event, but as we know at this point, it has a lot more to do with the players than the teams to some degree. I mean, what I'm going to do here is we're gonna take a look at the top 8. I'm not going to deep dive the rosters because I've said in the past I don't think rosters are very interesting in this edition. But we are going to talk about the factions and take a brief look at the outlook of LVO here. So in 8th place we had Janice Gillum running Intercession Squad. I believe she went 5-2 across the weekend. I personally am very high on Intercession Squad, slightly more so on Into the Dark than on Open, which, to clarify, Las Vegas Open was an open board tournament across the whole weekend. But still, very high on Intercessors. They're also another very good team that didn't get nerfed in the last data slate, so no surprise to see them performing very well here. At 7th place, we have Chris Baki running Blooded. The only surprise here is that Chris Baki is all the way down in 7th place. I mean, what the heck, Chris? No, but seriously, very impressive performance. He's running Blooded. He has kind of been championing them for quite a bit, and he's kind of the only person that's playing them at such a high level that I'm aware of. But he's done very well here again. He only lost 1 game on the whole weekend. He won 5, lost 1, and had a draw right in the middle. And a draw that's aged very well as we'll move on and go forward. In 6th place, we have Miguel, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, Miguel Bismonte, who won 5 games, drew 1, and lost 1. And he was running the Navis Breachers. So first appearance in the top 8 for the Navis Breachers here at 6th. But there's more to come with John Reese from Canurola Crit at 5th place, also running Navis Breachers. He won 6 games and only lost the 1. No ties here. Navis Breachers so far 2 in the top 8. We go over to 4th place. We have Anthony M playing Wormblade. Very surprised to see Wormblade so high. He won 6 games as well, lost only the 1, and honestly, Wormblade are interesting because they've gone so unchanged for so long, and I think they are kind of I think you can look at this very like if you break it down, you can see that a lot of very good other Horde teams got hit with nerfs, and Wormblade were always kind of like a team on the cusp of being very good. I have a lot of experience with the team. I played them a ton last year around this time. So, I mean, to see them do well now after all these, like the ripple effects from all these changes, it's not like a super surprise, but it is cool to see Wormblade up there at the 4 spot. At third, we have Adrian Bonvento, who ran Intercessions. That's the second Intercession in our top 8. He went 6 wins, 1 loss over the weekend. Not super surprised to see another Intercession in the top 8. I'm personally very high on them. And we interviewed Adrian for the 12 Days of Kill Team back in December. So he did the Intercession video. So go check that out if you want to hear Adrian talk about Intercession. Very good player. And then in second place, we have Austin Lewis running Pathfinders. Pathfinders, I mean, this is kind of like a recurring thing where Pathfinders get nerfed, and then I find myself saying after the nerf, I still think they're very good. I still think they're very, very strong. And this remains true, clearly. 1 less operative hurts them, of course, but this is a team with a lot of reliability offensively. Even with the 1 less operative, they still have a lot of bodies. And ultimately, they have an amazing toolbox and a toolkit. So Pathfinders are still quite good, guys. They're not going anywhere. But they did not win the event. In fact, the event was won by Orion Wilfong and his Gellerpox Infected. So another team, in first and second place, we have teams that were just nerfed in the last data slate. And Wilfong he's been championing the Gellerpox since release. And, I mean, the interesting thing here is, I would say more so than the Pathfinder nerfs, the Gellerpox nerfs, there was kind of this air of how bad did the nerfs hurt them? And it's interesting that I mean, part of it, certainly, I mean, most of it, if we're being honest, is Wilfong is a phenomenal player, especially with the melee-centric like Horde team here. He was running Warp Coven before this, and to jump to Gellerpox, who are... it's no secret that Gellerpox are a little bit better, I think. Top to bottom than Warp Coven. At least less of like a... I don't know. Warp Coven are very complicated, and there's a lot of hoops you jump through, even as somebody that has taken them to a high level. I think a lot of Warp Coven players would probably agree with that. But Gellerpox, after the nerfs, there was... I mean, the Techno Curse hit seemed quite significant. The mutants and the glitchlings going to 6 up Feel No Pains seemed, I don't want to say significant, but noticeable. But clearly, and this is on open board too, so I mean, I've seen people say that Gellerpox are better on Into the Dark. I've seen some people say they're better on open board. I think a lot of this was probably helped by the Las Vegas Open having a dense amount of heavy terrain and a lot of places for the Nightmare Hulks to hide. Ultimately, Wilfong won 6 games and drew 1. He's the only player at the whole tournament out of like 90 something players that didn't lose a single game. So congratulations to Orion for another phenomenal performance. And again, he talked about Gellerpox Infected on the 12 Days of Kill Team that we did in December. So go listen to that if you want to hear from Wilfong. And yeah, so I mean, so the overall faction breakdown, we had 2 Intercession, 2 Navis Breachers, 1 Pathfinder, 1 Blooded, 1 Wormblade, and I believe that's it. I think I covered all of it. So, I mean, and then you can look at things that were just outside the top 8. Falling into the top 20, we had Elucidian Starstriders, another Wormblade, a Craft World, Orc Commandos, Legionary, Corsair Void Scarred, Void Dancer Troop, another Gellerpox Infected, Navis Breachers, Kasserkin, Veteran Guard, and another Gellerpox. So there was a few Gellerpox floating around the event. I am kind of looking forward to going over some of the streams and the film and looking at the games for myself, because I haven't actually gotten the chance to like deep dive in and do it. But there's not going to be another data slate, almost certainly, before KTO in a few weeks, which is the next big tournament, at least here in the States. And so, I mean, there is another major difference, though, is that KTO is going to be all into the dark, whereas LVO is all open board. So how much of this is going to continue to ring true in at KTO, who knows? Will Gellerpox dominate again? I don't know. I'm pretty sure Wilfong isn't playing at KTO. He's going to be there, but I don't think he's participating. So who knows? I think Intercession's going to do very well. I wouldn't be surprised to see, Legionaries, Navis Breachers continue to perform exceptionally. And we are probably going to have another tier list soon. I don't think we've done one since the data slate. No. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, if you can't tell. The 12 Days of Kill Team took a lot out of us. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm really interested in the results here at LVO. It was a fantastic tournament, very well put together by Dakota and all the judges and TOs that were involved. Well done, guys, for another excellent LVO. I do really want to make it one of these years, hopefully next year. But yeah, really good time. Go watch those streams at Luster's Workshop, and I'll probably talk about this a little more in depth with some of the players in the top 8 very soon. So stay tuned for that. As always, thank you guys so much for supporting us. We recently hit 7,000 subscribers, and we are so grateful for all that. And of course, special shout out to everybody over at patreon.com/commandpoint. You guys rock. And all the people at the YouTube membership program, you guys are awesome. So if you're not subscribed, please do. And if you're loving the content, you want more Kill Team, check out our Patreon. And yeah, you guys have a good one. We're talking about the Las Vegas Open. This is Shane signing out.